What would you do if the person who saved your life was the one the world feared most? In the grimy underbelly of a forgotten city alley, 12-year-old Eli crouched beside a dumpster, his stomach gnawing itself raw. His clothes were rags, his eyes hollow from days without food. The winter of 1998 was merciless, and Eli was just another shadow the world ignored. That night, as snow dusted the pavement, a figure emerged from the darkness, a woman in a black leather coat, her red hair like a flame against the gloom. They called her the Black Widow, a name whispered in terror, tied to tales of ruthless deals and vanished enemies. Yet, when she saw Eli, her cold gaze softened. Without a word, she knelt, pressed a warm loaf of bread into his trembling hands, and slipped a wad of cash into his pocket. "Survive," she said, her voice low but fierce, before vanishing into the night. Eli never forgot her face. That single act of kindness became the spark that kept him alive. He used the money to buy food, then clothes, then a chance. He clawed his way out of the streets, fueled by a promise to himself. He would find her again, not as a starving boy, but as someone who could repay her. Years passed. Eli, now Elias Kane, built an empire. By 30, he was a titan of industry, his name on skyscrapers, his wealth a shield against the world's cruelty. But beneath the tailored suits and boardroom victories, he carried the weight of that snowy night. His search for the Black Widow was relentless. Private investigators, whispered contacts, dead ends until one day, a lead. A woman matching her description was spotted in a rundown coastal town, running a shelter for the homeless. Elias drove through the night, his heart pounding with questions. Why had she helped him? Why did a woman feared by so many choose to save a nobody? When he arrived, the shelter was a crumbling building, its walls patched with hope and desperation. There she was, older now, her red hair streaked with gray, serving soup to a line of weary faces. Elias froze. The Black Widow, the myth, was just a woman named Mara, her hands calloused from years of giving. But before he could speak, a young girl tugged at Mara's sleeve, calling her Mama. Elias's breath caught. A daughter? The Black Widow, the solitary predator, had a child? This twist unraveled everything he thought he knew. Mara noticed him, her eyes narrowing with recognition. She ushered him to a quiet corner, her voice still carrying that fierce edge. "You're the boy from the alley," she said, not a question. Elias nodded, his throat tight. He told her of his journey, his success, his gratitude. He offered her millions, a new life, anything she wanted. But Mara only smiled, a tired, knowing curve of her lips. "I didn't save you for a reward," she said. "I saved you because I knew what it was to be hungry, to be alone. I was you once." Elias's eyes burned. He learned her story. Mara had been a street kid, too, hardened by survival until she carved a name that struck fear. But every life she took, every deal she made, was to protect others like her kids with no one, like her daughter now. The Black Widow wasn't a villain. She was a shield, her legend a mask for her sacrifices. He returned the next day, not with money, but with a promise. He rebuilt her shelter, funded schools, and told her story not as the Black Widow, but as Mara, the woman who saved him. Tears streamed down his face as he unveiled a plaque in her honor, the crowd cheering for a hero they'd never truly known. Mara stood beside him, her daughter's hand in hers, and for the first time, Elias felt whole. Kindness, he realized, wasn't a debt to repay, it was a fire to pass on. And in that moment, under the weight of his wealth and power, he was still just a boy, saved by a woman who saw him when no one else did. Yindi.